All right, want to get the rundown on Car Trade Tech. Get ready, because we're going deep on this one.
Yeah, and what's really interesting about Car Trade Tech is they've actually become India's top automotive platform.
Really? Top dog, huh?
Yeah, we're talking huge GE online presence, something like 70 million users every month across all their brands.
Yeah, that's a lot of users.
Yeah, and those brands are CarWall, BikeWall, Shriram, Automall, and even OLX India.
Old Paisy, they own that too.
Yeah, they acquired it.
Wow, so we're talking about a pretty big player in the Indian auto market, huh?
Definitely a major player.
So for those of us who aren't, totally up on all the brands, can you maybe break down what each of them actually does?
Sure. So basically CarWall and BikeWall, those are kind of the main hubs.
Okay.
For, if anyone's looking to buy or sell a car or a bike in India.
Yeah.
Those are classifieds platforms,
Right.
kind of like, giant online marketplaces where dealers can pay to list their vehicles.
Gotcha. So it's free for the people looking to buy, but the sellers have to pay.
Exactly. Consumers can browse for free.
Somewhere.
And then there's Shriram Automall. That's
What's that one do?
think of it like eBay, but just for cars.
Okay.
Specifically for cars.
Gotcha.
Facilitates used car transactions through auctions.
Okay. So if I'm understanding all this right, then the main revenue stream, like how they actually make money, is from dealers subscribing to, to be able to list their vehicles.
That's a big part of it, yeah.
Well,
Subscription fees from those dealers are, kind of the bread and butter for the classifieds platforms.
Makes sense.
And then Shriram Automall gets revenue from the auction fees.
Okay.
But get this, Car Trade Tech doesn't stop there.
Really? What else do they do?
They're also, they have a bunch of actual stores across India.
Oh, wow. So they're not just online.
Nope, over 225 stores.
Not 225 stores?
Under brands like Absure.
Okay.
They offer stuff like car inspection, valuation, and even certified used car sales.
Used car sales through the stores.
Yeah, and they have a money-back guarantee.
Now, hold on. A money-back guarantee on a used car, you don't see that every day,
It's pretty unique, right?
especially in India.
Yeah, that's true, but I think it just shows how they're really committed to, addressing that trust issue.
Which is huge in the used car market.
Oh, absolutely, especially in India.
Yeah.
They're not just connecting buyers and sellers, they're really trying to change the whole game.
So they're kind of like building this whole ecosystem of trust.
Exactly.
That's really smart.
Yeah, it's pretty innovative.
Okay, this is all giving me a much clearer idea of how they're, making money and all that.
Good.
What about their growth? Like, where do they go from here?
Well, they were already doing really well even before they got OLX.
They were.
Yeah, they were already seeing over 20% growth in recent quarters.
Wow, that's really good.
But the OLX acquisition, that's a total game changer.
Yeah, I can see why you'd say that.
OLX brings in a massive amount of users.
And it's not even just cars, right?
Right.
Exactly.
It's everything.
Everything. Homes, jobs, electronics, you name it.
Wow. So that's going to open up a lot of different possibilities for Car Trade Tech.
Oh, yeah. It completely changes the game in terms of revenue.
It's pretty amazing, actually.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
So they're not just a car company anymore. They're kind of I don't even know what to call them.
They're an ecosystem.
Yeah, an ecosystem. That's a good way to put it.
But it's not even just about the size. It's
Yeah.
more like how they're going to actually use it. All those OLX users and integrate it all together.
Yeah, that makes
To
sense.
expand into all these new areas,
So we're talking more than just those new categories on the website.
Right.
What are their actual plans?
So one of the big things they're focused on is making the online car buying process better.
Okay, how are they going to do that?
They're investing in new tech and features.
Okay.
So it's easier and more transparent for people to, find the cars, research them, buy them, the whole thing, all online. Can you give me some examples?
Sure. So remember those Absure stores we talked about?
Yeah, the physical stores.
They're going to be a big part of this, the bridge between the online and the offline.
Right.
So say you find a car on CarWall, right?
Yeah.
Or on OLX. You can actually schedule an inspection at an Absure store near you.
That's cool. So you can actually see the car in person before you commit.
Exactly. It's like try before you buy, but for used cars.
I like that.
They'll check everything out, make sure it's legit, verify the car's history,
Yeah.
and if everything's good, you can even buy it right there at the store.
That's smart. It really addresses that whole trust issue we were talking about.
Exactly. Builds confidence for the buyer.
For sure. Because buying a used car can be kind of scary.
Yeah, totally.
So they're trying to make it less stressful.
Right, exactly. That's the whole point.
What else are they doing?
They've also been talking a lot about this buy one click feature.
Buy one click. What's that?
So basically, it streamlines the whole financing process.
Okay.
So people can get pre-approved for loans directly on CarTrade's platforms.
So you don't have to go through all the hassle of applying for loans at different banks.
Exactly.
That's super convenient.
It is. So by the time you get to that Upsure store, you're not just browsing, you're a serious buyer with financing ready to go.
Wow, that changes everything.
It does.
So they're really thinking about the whole process from start to finish, making it as smooth as possible.
Exactly. That's the goal.
Less stressful for the buyer, faster, more transparent.
Yep, exactly.
So it sounds like they're doing a lot of really innovative stuff, but I'm guessing it's not all smooth sailing, right?
Right. There's always challenges.
What kind of challenges?
Well, for one, the market is super competitive.
Yeah, I can imagine.
There's all these other online classifieds platforms in India.
Oh, really?
Yeah, established players like Quicker, and then all these new startups popping up all the time.
I didn't realize it was so crowded.
Oh, yeah. And you can't forget about the big guys like Google and Facebook. They're always trying to get a piece of the pie.
True, they're everywhere.
So CarTrade really needs to stay on top of things, keep innovating, to stay ahead of everyone else.
Yeah, if they get complacent, someone else will just swoop in.
Exactly.
What other challenges are they facing?
Well, another thing is that they're kind of dependent on the growth of India's used car market.
Oh, that makes sense.
And even though the Indian economy is strong, it could be affected by, global stuff, economic downturns.
Right, it's all connected.
Yeah, and if that happens, people might not be buying as many cars,
Yeah, big purchases are usually the first to go when things get tough.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've got the external factors, the competition, the economy.
Mm-hmm.
What about internal challenges?
Well, one big one is maintaining that trust
Oh, yeah, that's huge.
and security on their platforms.
Makes sense, especially with all the new categories they're adding.
Right, with more users and more transactions, there's more opportunity for, fraud, data breaches, all that.
That's scary.
Yeah, it's definitely something they got to take seriously.
So how are they addressing it?
Well, they're investing a lot in security measures, data encryption, all that.
Okay, that's good to hear.
And they're also trying to be really transparent about everything.
Like how?
Their processes, fees, policies, just laying it all out there.
So people know exactly what they're getting into.
Right. And they're also trying to integrate all the OLX businesses into CarTrade's existing systems, which is a whole other challenge.
Yeah, that's got to be complicated.
It is. It's one thing to acquire a company, but making it all work together smoothly, that's a whole other ball game.
Like, different pieces of a puzzle. Got to make sure they all fit.
Right. And it takes a lot of planning, communication, just a clear vision for how it's all going to work together in the long run.
So we've talked about a lot of challenges.
Yeah.
But what makes CarTrade tech so, compelling?
Yeah.
Why should we be paying attention to them?
Well, despite all those challenges, there's a lot of optimism around the company.
Really? Why is that?
They're at the forefront of this digital revolution that's happening in India.
Oh, yeah. Everything's moving online.
And they're in a great position to benefit from the growth of the used car market, which is only going to get bigger.
So they're not just riding the wave, they're actually shaping it.
Exactly.
What's their growth guidance looking like?
Management is really confident about the future, especially with the used car classifieds and the non-auto stuff that came with OLX.
They think it's going to keep growing.
Yeah, they're projecting continued growth.
So they're pretty ambitious.
They are, but are those ambitions realistic? That's the big question.
It is a billion-dollar question.
So what's going to determine if they actually succeed?
Yeah. What are the key factors here?
I think it comes down to a few things. Can they actually execute their plans? Can they adapt to the market as it changes? And can they keep that trust and transparency with their users?
Those are all really important.
That are, and it's going to be interesting to see how they handle it all.
So what's the big takeaway for our listeners?
I think the main thing is that CarTrade Tech is a company with a big vision.
Yeah.
They've got a good track record and the resources to really make a difference in India's digital economy.
So they're more than just a car website.
Way more. They're a tech company that's changing the way people buy and sell cars in India.
Really changing the whole game.
Yeah, and their journey is going to be full of challenges, for sure.
But they're definitely a company worth watching.
Absolutely. And don't forget about the whole regulatory landscape in India.
Ah, right. The regulations.
Yeah, that can be a big hurdle for any business, especially in a fast-moving industry like this one.
Definitely. Always got to be mindful of the rules.
Exactly. And the Indian government is really starting to focus on regulating the digital economy more.
So what does that mean for CarTrade Tech?
Well, those regulations could affect a lot of things.
Like what?
data privacy, how online transactions are handled, all sorts of stuff.
So they have to stay on top of all that.
Oh, yeah, they need to be proactive, make sure they're following the rules,
Because if they don't,
Fines, legal problems, damage to their reputation, it could get messy.
yeah, that's not good.
Not at all.
So it's not just about having a great product. They got to play by the rules, too.
Absolutely. It's all connected.
Okay, so we've talked about competition, the economy, the regulations. It's a lot to juggle.
It is. It's a complex landscape.
So with all that in mind, what do you think? What's your overall take on car trade tech? Do you think they'll succeed?
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
I'd say I'm cautiously optimistic,
Cautiously optimistic. Okay.
They have a lot of good things going for them.
Like what?
Strong leadership, a proven business model, a huge user base, good financials. They're making smart moves, expanding, innovating.
So what's making you cautious?
It's just the environment they're operating in. It's tough. It's unpredictable.
Always changing?
Yeah, so their success isn't guaranteed,
Nothing is for sure in the business world, right?
Exactly. It'll be interesting to see how they handle everything over the next few years.
So they've got the potential, but it's all about execution.
Pretty much, yeah.
Well, this has been a really fascinating deep dive.
I agree.
I feel like I've learned so much about car trade tech, their business, their challenges, their opportunities, everything.
Good, good.
I'm glad we got to take this deep dive together.
Me too. It's always fun to explore these companies and see what they're up to.
And to our listeners, thanks for joining us on this journey into the world of car trade tech.
We hope you found it insightful.
As always, we encourage you to do your own research, form your own opinions.
That's right. Stay informed.
Knowledge is power, especially in today's world.
Couldn't agree more.
Well, that's it for this deep dive.
Until next time.
See you then.